Well, then this year comes along. And not only do we have this issue, but we have something else, right? In the middle of this pandemic, and it's been interesting because over the last 20 years, there's always been segments, groups, portions of the economy that were experiencing high degrees of change, or particular companies that were in the midst of incredible change. Now it's everybody. Like in the last 5 months, we have yet to work with anybody that isn't telling us they're in the midst of significant amount of change right now. And not only that, not only are our organizations and our institutions having to change. And by the way, it's kind of two fronts. One is that all of the changes that have been brought on because of the pandemic and all those social changes. But the other is coming out of the pandemic, right? How we bridge back into the new normal. So you have all these organizations that are experiencing all of this change, and you have human beings that are also experiencing an enormous amount of change, right? Where in the past, some people were going through a lot of change. Right now, almost every family, if you think about it, is dealing with a whole bunch of stuff they didn't have to deal with a year ago. So if we just stop for a second, right? In the midst of everything that's going on, not lose the forest for the trees and realize, hey, on one hand, right? Every organization is having to pivot, is having to change, is having to do something. And on the other hand, most people are dealing with far more change and uncertainty than they've had to deal with in a very long time. And these two things don't like each other. And this is really what I want to address and help you think through right now, because I think every organization in one way or another, and this is really unusual, is having to deal with this. There's a very predictable thing that happens whenever people experience a large amount of change. This happened in 1906. It happened in Hugo. It happened in Japan in 2011. During any type of a natural disaster, when people are dealing with a lot of ambiguity in their lives, marriage rates go up, and so do divorce rates. And it took sociologists a long time to realize, because they were thinking, do these disasters bring people together? Do they drive them apart? And in actuality, neither was true. The reason that marriage rates went up and the reason that divorce rates went up is because people at a certain point can't handle any more ambiguity. They can't handle any more uncertainty. They hit a certain level. So think about it. If you were thinking about getting married and you couldn't handle any more open questions, you either got married or you didn't. If you were thinking about getting divorced, right, and you can't handle any more open questions, it was a little bit like carbon monoxide poisoning. At a certain point, people cannot handle any more uncertainty.